Hello, I'm Michael Diamond, and you're watching Muscle Central. Okay, with the return of Phil Heath to this year's Olympia, the 2020 Mr. Olympia, there's a lot of buzz going around. Everybody's talking about Phil Heath. Now, I'm watching on another YouTube channel, and I'm not going to mention the name. I'm not trying to trash anyone. I'm not trying to start a social media feud with anybody. But talking about Phil Heath, something was said that I take exception to, and I'm going to talk about it right now, and you let me know what you think about it. I will not deny that Phil Heath is one of the greatest bodybuilders of all time. He didn't get to be 7-time Mr. Olympia by not being a great bodybuilder. What was said in this video basically was that Phil Heath, at his best, would have beaten anybody else at their best on stage. Now, that included, as a matter of fact, mentioned specifically Ronnie Coleman. Now, as great as Phil Heath is, there's a couple of, let's take Ronnie Coleman out of the picture for a second. There's a couple of other bodybuilders that, at their absolute best, and can put him up against Phil at his absolute best. I'm not so sure that Phil would beat them either. But that's another story. We're talking about Ronnie Coleman. 2011, 2012, Phil Heath. 2011, he won the title. That was Phil Heath's best. It was never quite the same. Since then, those were his two best years, his two best looks. Ronnie Coleman, some might argue, 98 when he won the Olympia, and 99 in his first defense. And those were amazing specimens. But there's another Ronnie Coleman. The 98-99 Ronnie Coleman was like Clark Kent, and then you have the 2003 Ronnie Coleman, which was Superman. Like something from another planet. It was reported that he weighed as much as 293 on stage. Some say as low as 272, which is still damn big. Freaking big. And he was probably somewhere in between there. Nonetheless, he was carrying a lot of muscle on that frame of his, and the conditioning was there. There is, even if he was 272, Striated includes 272 at his height, which is about 5'10", 5'10 and a half. The man was conditioned. Now, you're going to take the 2003 version of Ronnie Coleman and put that up against the 2011, 2012 version of Phil Heath. Now, Phil Heath was a little shorter than Ronnie, not much, maybe an inch or so, not much. But the difference in weight was, if Ronnie was 272, we're talking about a good 20 pounds of solid muscle difference. If he was high as the low 290s, that's a hell of a lot more muscle. Either way, Ronnie Coleman was carrying a lot more muscle on his frame than Phil Heath. And we're talking about conditioned muscle. Now, when you get to the comparisons, I got the front shots, the front double biceps, the front lat spread. For neither one, those two shots weren't the best shots for either one of them. But Ronnie is naturally wider than Phil Heath. Phil Heath, for all his gifts that he has, structurally, his width, he's not that wide. And he makes up for it with his tremendous delt development, but when he stands against Ronnie Coleman and those shots, like I said, it's not the best shot. Those shots aren't the best for either one of them. But Ronnie Coleman opens up so much wider, it's going to make Phil look small. It'll make him look very small. And he more than likely is going to win those shots. Side chest. The thickness through the shoulders, through the delts, through the pecs on Ronnie, mixed in with that conditioning, once again, he's going to make Phil look small. He's just going to overpower him. From the front, Phil Heath will take him on the side triceps. The side triceps is not a good shot for Ronnie, and with Phil's shoulder and arm development, I'll give him that pose. He might take him on the abs, the 2011, 2012 Phil Heath might take him on the abs and thighs. Most muscular one also, once again, Ronnie's just too much thick, dense, ripped muscle. As good as Phil Heath looks, and he looks pretty damn good in that shot also, Ronnie is just going to make him look small. Phil's bread and butter is when he turns to the back. Is arguably one of the best backs in the history of bodybuilding. And he dominates most people when he turns around on the back shots. Back double biceps, head to toe, all the detail, striated glutes, hamstrings, everything. He has it. But Ronnie Coleman, arguably also one of the best, if not best back in bodybuilding. There's detail, density, the back lat spread, the thickness and the width on Ronnie Coleman, once again, is going to make Phil look small. Back double biceps, which is a great shot for Phil. And you see all that detail from head to toe in the back. But Ronnie got that type of detail also. Shredded. He was shredded in 2003 at that weight. And he has that detail, and he has the striated glutes, the hamstrings. So those back shots that are really the bread and butter for Phil Heath, that's where he really dominates. He's not going to be able to dominate Ronnie Coleman on those shots. questionable whether he can win those shots. I mean, like I said, for all the gifts that Phil Heath has, Ronnie Coleman at that size with the conditioning that he brings is just gonna make Phil look small. Like I said, Phil has a small structure. Structurally, Ronnie is a lot bigger than him. So even with the great depth development that Phil Heath has to help compensate for his narrow structure, Ronnie being that much wider structurally and with that massive development, he is just going to make Phil look small. And like I said, when I turn around to the back, which is Phil Heath's bread and butter, Ronnie Coleman is considered to have, by many, one of the best, if not best, backs also. And it's with detail from top to bottom, he matches Phil, if not surpasses him. We'll never know for sure, but we're never going to see. We won't unless somebody creates some sort of time machine and we can transport the best Ronnie Coleman and the best Phil Heath into the same time period, so we compare them. Never know for sure, but I mean, in my estimation, like I said, for all the gifts Phil Heath has, Ronnie Coleman is a true genetic freak in his own right. He matches, if not beats, Phil in his bread and butter shots, brings the level of conditioning needed, and will just basically out-muscle Phil Heath. That's about it for this video. If you agree or disagree with what I've said, please let me know in the comment section. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please share, and by all means subscribe. Do not forget to hit that notification bell. This way, every time I put up a new video, you will be notified. Once again, this is Michael Diamond. I'd like to thank you for watching Muscle Central.